So, Mark, did you see that tragedy that happened at Wynn Las Vegas? Someone lost a heel
Have you ever seen the movie Mallrats?
a long time ago, but I'm not going to remember any references from it.
I was gonna say, do you remember the part where he's like, "Oh, there's another kid on the escalator. The parents never pay attention. He gets stuck on the escalator." That's the same in Vegas, except for drunk women in heels. Another one on the
Yeah,
escalator.
apparently it happens all the time. Who knew this was such an issue?
Rest in peace, Louis Vuitton.
Also, rest in peace to the world's largest gift shop, or maybe, I don't know, another lawsuit happening with F1. How many lawsuits has F1 been involved with, whether they're bringing the lawsuits or they are being sued in the last few years? But this one revolves around the Bonanza gift shop. That's the one at Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard, the world's largest gift shop. And apparently they were selling counterfeit F1 merchandise during the race in the original year in 2023. And F1 officials had found some of the merchandise at one, the guy who owns it owns multiple places, found it at one place, and then they ran over to the other and they had removed it. So it was just this big sort of deal, but I guess they were able to find the sourcing and they show pictures of what this looked like.
Every city you go to has counterfeit crap and all these gift shops, and they're like $5. What do you care? Like the F1 person that you want to buy your F1 merch is not going to this store. They're not going to spend $10 on a crappy hoodie or whatever it be, or $20. Your stuff is 50, 60, 100, 150, 200, whatever it is. It's totally different clientele. So I don't know why you're stressing about it. Plus it looks like junk. So it doesn't look anything like F1 made it. I could see if they were like copying the logo and exactly what you put on your shirt. I feel like you go around the New York shops and I Heart New York, everybody has that shirt. The NYPD, everybody has that shirt. You just got to let it go. It's just a part of being in a Vegas type of place.
I do think that they used Las Vegas Grand Prix and F1 names. So those are registered trademarks and probably they have to defend that. So if it was just generic merchandise, maybe not. Yeah, I think you made the perfect point here. This stuff looks terrible though. It looks so cheap. And you're not mistaking that for a high quality thing, but that's also F1 coming in saying, we don't want this cheap crap out there representing this. I do understand that. Hopefully this will pass. They'll figure it out. So moving on, a quick PSA. I've received a few other messages about smoke detectors, these smart smoke detectors. We did a whole in-depth thing on our travel show about them and some of the problems that are having and false positives and people getting huge fines. I just received another email about Rio and the ones they have there, and one of our viewers getting charged $419 for it. So if you have one of those automated smoke detectors, Caesars is using them at some properties. Be careful with hair dryers and anything that might change the temperature quickly in a room, because they use that and then simulate the smell of smoke. I just want to kind of warn people because this is happening more often.
Don't take women that use hair dryers with you traveling anymore. That's what we've learned here, because if you turn on a hair dryer, I guess some guys probably use hair dryers too. So don't do that either. Don't travel with guys that use hair dryers. This is crazy. And the fact that they won't fight it, even people have gone down to the checkout. It's been on the bill before they checked out and said, walk up with me right now. Like, you're saying I did this today. It would smell like smoke. Let's go up there. And they're like, no, we can't. We can't do it. This is the charge. It's never wrong. And it's like, obviously it's wrong. This company that built this is kind of scammy, that made these sensors. They kind of said that this is what was going to happen, and they're allowing it to happen. And it's terrible. And I don't know what's going to happen. There'll probably be some type of lawsuit in the future, but until then, you're going to get slapped with these annoying fees that are astronomically high, especially when they go in there. They're not going to clean anything. They're not going to de-smoke anything. And it's just sad.
Yeah, this is a case where technology probably rolled out too soon. It's not working well. There's a lot of cases documented of problems here, some that have been big and small, but just keep your eye out on that. This next thing is proof that it's not just old Vegas hotels that cause elevator problems. Imagine being at Cosmo and 6 elevators and only one is working, and this is a tall building. It's not so easy to get down if you're up there, and then especially to get up if you're down. But this apparently happened according to this picture, and it looks nuts.
Seems to happen, maybe this isn't fair, but or maybe just because we're more in the weeds in Vegas, but it seems to happen in Vegas more often than other places, like elevator problems. Maybe individual hotels in certain cities have them, but never just like it pops up all over the place like it does here. And that's, we've talked about the link room that I really loved, that had the cabana out to the pool. The biggest selling feature for me outside of that awesome cabana was that you could walk down. There was no elevator. You're on the second floor. You walk down some stairs. You're in the casino and everything. And, I've seen the Vegas skyline. It's beautiful. I don't need to see it every trip. I'm almost tempted to get like a second or third floor room or request it so I can use stairs. At New York, I got stuck waiting for the elevator several times, and it's just annoying.
So I currently have a room at Resorts World. I was going to record this from there, but decided against that. It was just not going to work. But I was thinking about the hallways, just walking down. I always get rooms at the end of the hallways, and I wonder what age people, when they come to Vegas, they start requesting those rooms next to the elevators, because some of these hallways are so long,
My
and
age.
it's a matter. Yeah, I was. It's not even a matter of not wanting to walk. It just gets tedious. Now you're waiting for the elevator. It's a long elevator ride up. Now it's a big walk, and maybe you were on the other side of the casino. And yeah, it does add up. And people do look miserable these days in elevators. They need those Circa elevators, Mark. Those cool elevators where you just hit the floor and it takes you there magically.
Yeah, well, Resorts World has some of those where you like push in and it tells you which elevator, which I think those systems do work a bit better and are more efficient and helpful. But they need like when you get in the back of the taxi cab and Steve Wynn used to come up and tell you all about, Wynn Resorts. They need better videos like that in the elevators past the time.
So it's been a while since we've talked nachos on the show. So I thought maybe it was time to relive our favorite food. So let's look at Stadium Swim. They shared this picture of their nachos platter. This looks amazing until you realize that it's supposed to be for 6 people. It doesn't make it look less amazing. You realize it's not a single portion, and also that it costs between $90 and $105.
If you have 6 people, under $20 a person, that's not terrible for poolside nachos, and they look hefty enough to feed 6 people for sure. You just wonder, once you get off that top layer, is there anything? Are they like layering these so there's still stuff underneath, or are you just stuck with chips a la Mandalay Bay?
Yeah, let's hold off on that for a second, because this is the new Nachogate for sure over at Mandalay Bay. I'm a little torn on this because I've seen big nacho platters that are almost as big as that for $25 as part of a, like Margaritaville back in the day. Maybe the scale is a little off. She is having to reinforce that pretty good. It looks heavy. Yeah. I think it's fine. You're at a pool. We've talked about the high pool food prices. At least it's a good product. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I looked at the Circa menu and the other things. Like there was, I think it was 6 hot dogs for $90, which I thought was a bit crazy. Quarter-pound hot dogs, which you can get at a gas station for like $1.50. So that seems a bit out there. So their prices are kind of high in some places. I don't think the nachos are out of the realm.
One interesting thing on that menu, lobster corn dogs, lobster tail with crispy cornbread batter served with lemon aioli, $190. I wonder how many. I'm imagining you get 6 corn dogs, since it says it's
many corn
6.
Dogs.
Yeah. Hey, but lobster corn dogs, I've never heard of that. So there you go. Somebody send us a picture if you've ever had that. But let's look at another pool. Let's go south to Mandalay Bay, one of the cooler pools in Vegas. $22 for these nachos. Can I call them nachos, Mark? I'm not sure I can call them nachos.
It's like chips with a side of a tiny cup of garden salsa. What is with when you get nachos at a pool, they give you this tiny cup of salsa. What are you going to do with that? You can barely fit the chip in there to dip into it. Salsa is not expensive. It's like super cheap to make. Tomatoes are not expensive. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's this is just hilarious. Like that anybody thinks that they can have any pride in serving this to anybody, or to think that this should be I just looked at the picture of the salsa again, and it's like empty. It's not even full. What is there, like 2 slices of green onion on chives on there, and then you just have the cheese melted. This is embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. I don't care if it was $10. It's embarrassing. Who wants to put this out? Charge $22 and put out a regular nachos, or charge $30 and give them something. And a lot of this is a thing about nachos, and we'll get off of this because this isn't MTM nachos, but that they're starting to charge separate for the meat now. Meat used to be included with the nachos. What happened with that?
Yeah, I mean, cheese is cheap too. Like cheese sauce, just pour some cheese sauce on there. If you can get these at 7-Eleven or the gas station for $3.50, you can charge $15 at the pool and actually cover them in cheese sauce, or give a big cup of cheese to dip them in. It's bad. It's not as bad as Fontainebleau, but it's up there. At least Fontainebleau looked like they added some crap to the chips.
I think it's worse than Fontainebleau. Yeah, the Fontainebleau nachos had real stuff on them, so there wasn't a lot there. I don't know. Chime in the comments. Is this insane? It just looks like the microwave nachos that you make when you're scrambling around the house at midnight and there's nothing else but chips and cheese, and you just throw them in the microwave for 30 seconds and deal with it. That's what this is.
Are you talking about poor people nachos?
Yes. So Tiki, let's talk Tiki. Grand Tiki is a new Tiki bar opening on Audrey and Harmon. Somebody sent you a picture of just the sign, said it was coming, but I went to their Instagram. They're doing a lot of behind the scenes on the building of it and some of the decor that they're bringing in from Bali, and it looks really cool. This is going to be on Audrey and Harmon, just off the strip. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think that looks great, and they're bringing in a lot of really cool looking stuff, and I'm excited to see what it looks like when it's all put together. But you can never have too many tiki bars. I think Vegas is a little bit light on tiki bars, to be honest. So I'm excited for this. We've talked about going to the one in the best strip mall in Vegas. So we need competition.
Well, there is some competition at Resorts World with their tiki bar. I'll have a lot about Resorts World in the next week or so, but I was there last night, 5:52 p.m. So on a Sunday night, 5:52 p.m. And here's the video. But there wasn't a single person in the tiki bar, not one single person. Resorts World wasn't busy for a Sunday. I would say it was slower, but it wasn't like empty. There's people all around like you would expect. Fontainebleau sort of the same, but this tiki bar, nobody. And I was just checking in at the time at the Hilton and just getting so annoyed at how small that lobby is and how cramped it is. And it's like Grand Central Station with 1 million people. And I hate to say this because that bar is probably one of the nicest looking venues in Resorts World. They should take the bar out and make that part of the lobby of the Hilton and just expand the space there at this point. Because it failed in its original form and there was just nobody in there. And it is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really cool inside. I don't feel like it's really a tiki bar. It feels like it's a bar that they turned into or tried to somewhat make a tiki bar. It's never been very busy. I've walked by there, stopped in there 2 or 3 times now, and I've never noticed a lot of people. The location's a bit challenging. It's not like the most prominent or easily discoverable location, so I give it that, but it is beautiful. If it was somewhere else, I think it might do well. A lot of it depends on how the drinks are and everything, but it is a really nice space. But yes, that Hilton check-in area is small. Conrad's is a bit better. Crockford's, of course, you don't need a ton of space, and that's a beautiful lobby. Now I want to go back and have a drink at Crockford's. I love that lobby bar.
Crockford's has 1/10 the room and 3 times the lobby space of the Hilton.
Yeah.
But that bar sits right out. It looks right out at the Hilton lobby. So if they knocked it down, they could do more space. I'm sure that's not what they're looking to do, but more on Resorts World coming, more thoughts coming soon on the show. But as a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show behind my Vegas stays, our antics, the channel, lots of laughs and fun. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information, and thanks to everyone who supports us over there. So I hope to record this show saying that the Summerlin South team was the world champions in the Little League World Series, but that did not happen. They lost to Chinese Taipei in the finals, but they are the U.S. champions for the first time ever, and that is pretty cool too. Even though they faced this pitcher in the finals that he's throwing like 80-mile-per-hour balls, and he's just like a phenom. So they lost 7-0 in the final, which kind of sucks, but U.S. champions.
You know how they celebrated that?
No. How?
They went down to the strip mall downtown and had a great time.
That's what you do in in Las Vegas. That's what you do.
No.
They went to downtown Summerlin. Yes, I know what you're saying.
No, I think that it's really cool and something that they'll remember forever. And even being U.S. champ, that's what's cool about this. They lost that game, but they're still U.S. champ. I haven't really noticed Little League World Series. Remember like early 2000s when it first started getting on TV and it was such a big thing. And then all those people were like falsifying birth certificates to get like 17-year-olds on the team and everything with mustaches while they're pitching. And it was like this huge scandal. So that's just, I'll always remember that for Little League World Series.
I'll have to talk about it on the after show. It's not for this show, but many of my friends, Northridge Little League, 1993, people I played baseball with, Little League World Series champions. So it was an interesting time to go through all that. But congratulations. Las Vegas, the center of the sports world, Mark. I mean, who can beat us? Who's better than us?
I mean, just wait till the A's get there.
We'll always be Hockey Town, USA, though, so nobody can take that away from us.
Yeah, for sure.
So on the last show, we talked a lot about that $49 brunch at STK, and it was a very interesting discussion. A lot of people are torn on whether that's a good deal or a bad deal. But it's become evident, especially as all-you-can-eat buffets have declined in Las Vegas, that brunch has become a big thing, and there's a lot of all-you-can-eat brunches with bottomless drinks. In fact, a lot more than I even knew about, like just seeing this Strip Stumble. And I think this is a cool website too. They have a lot of different resources on there, but they put out this list of brunches with the bottomless stuff with the prices so you can see where you want to do it, a map. This is a pretty great resource.
Yeah, I think this is a really cool resource. I can't remember if C-Note shared this or who shared it on Twitter that I saw. but they did a really great job putting this together, and good info and something really cool. And check out the site for sure.
I hate to go back to 1993 again on the nostalgia train, but my YouTube algorithm fed me this video, and it is one of the best videos I've seen of Las Vegas drive-through. And I think it's because of the exact era, that the day that this was done, there was so much change going on in Las Vegas. This video features the Strat legs. You can see the Adventure Dome under construction with the exoskeleton. Of course, 3 major casinos opened in that time. So MGM Grand, Luxor, and Treasure Island are all under construction. You get to see the construction walls for TI. You even get to see the Circus Tram working, which is so cool. This is a great video.
You forgot to say the Mirage Volcano too.
Well, that's obvious.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
No, it's such a cool video, and it just shows like how much Vegas has grown since then. Think about it, before these mega resorts, which had just recently been built, like Treasure Island, stuff like that, Mirage, there was even more space, but there's still a ton of motels, there's gas stations, stuff you just don't see on the Strip anymore. It's a cool, kind of like the beginning, the infancy years of what we see now started right about this time. So it's kind of cool to see it age out of what it was and become part of what it is these days, and just get a taste of all that.
Yeah, and I really loved, I didn't remember seeing the construction walls for TI with the pirates and what they were doing. Remember Steve Wynn heavily inspired by Disney with that resort and what he was trying to put on there. And then I remember seeing this as a kid, but just the stratosphere with just the legs there, that was a funny look. And the exoskeleton of the Adventure Dome, which is a unique sort of look into that. This was a moment in time where you could really see, as you point out, the old Las Vegas dying, the new Las Vegas coming in, and yet it all still sort of coexisted together. So a great look on that. Part of 2000s era Las Vegas was Mandalay Bay opening up, and the Foundation Room, those views, those are iconic views. Everybody's seen a picture taken from Foundation Room, and there's a lot of Strip views now. We talk about the bars, the rooftop bars. There's probably arguably a lot of better Strip views than Foundation Room has now, but that is a classic view. And all of that to say that it's closing, apparently, according to Vital Vegas, in September for up to 11 months to completely rehab the space. It probably needs it, and this is a membership club, so that's interesting. Always been a popular venue in Las Vegas, and a great place, but I kind of like Skyfall better.
Yeah, I like Skyfall better. And do you think they're giving those members a reprieve on their dues for those months?
I'm sure there's some sort of deal worked out. I don't know anybody who's a Foundation Room member anymore. But I mean, if you're paying all that money, this used to be a hot membership to have back when it opened. I knew a few people who had it. This was the place to be seen and heard. You know, we talk about Doberman downtown and, you know, Zero Bond at Wynn. That kind of like what Foundation Room was, especially Zero Bond at Wynn, for that type of person back in the day. And yeah, it needs it. But 11 months, that's a lot of money lost.
I just wonder, like, how many people do you think are still members there? But right next door, you still have a great bar to go into. So that's makes it a little bit easier.
Vital Vegas also shared a sneak peek, the first look inside Ellis Island's expansion, which he says is going to open next week, which is the first time I had heard that. We hadn't had a date up until now. Obviously, he has a very close relationship with the property. He gambles there a lot, apparently. I'm not going to go deep into the concepts and a lot more. We'll talk about this when it opens and get a full look. But I like this little sneak peek, and it looks really good, and it looks nothing like the rest of Ellis Island.
Yeah, I don't like it. It needs a little dirt on the walls, needs some beer stains on the floor. It's too nice.
Kind of reminds me of El Cortez. You build this really fancy new expansion that is a little bit different than the rest of the property. Although I think the rest of El Cortez has probably been fixed up a little bit. I mean, we love Ellis Island. We're not putting it down. There's a charm to all of that going on, and having this extra space is going to be huge. The one thing about Ellis Island is everything's on top of each other, not enough space. So yeah, this will be good. And it's been a crazy amount of time that they've been building this.
Yeah, I would say, like, when you look at that staircase and the lights and everything, it feels like somebody that was on like the movie Tron would design, which isn't a knock by me. I love Tron. I love that type of architecture, that type of design language. I don't know that it will be for everyone. I think it's kind of like in that vein. If you've ever seen that movie, Tron Legacy, it feels very much like that, but it's kind of cool. Something different, something that you don't see maybe in the fancier casinos, but this is still done in that type of aesthetic, but maybe a little more futuristic feeling, a little bit more sci-fi, which is kind of cool.
So I did it, Mark. I went to the Hall of Excellence. I saw Tom Brady's Super Bowl rings, and my life has been changed forever.
Oh my gosh, I looked at these pictures and it was more pathetic than I thought.
You're so wrong about this, actually. I can't believe how wrong you are about this. So we've been very skeptical of the price, which I think is $45
No.
normal and $35 for locals. I said a few weeks ago I had an offer on my Fontainebleau Rewards account for 2 free tickets, and I was over there yesterday. And if you have this offer, it's super cool. You just go to the Hall of Excellence. You don't need to print out. You don't need to go to the rewards desk. You just give them your rewards card and they comp it for you. And I didn't know what to expect here, Mark. This is a great museum. It's a really well done museum with some very interesting artifacts. And the way they did it, I've been to some like Hall of Fame museums and stuff like that are around specific sports, but this kind of talks about all sports. It's really about excellence and the best in each sport, but they kind of make a diverse range of things. So you have at some point you have like Emmys and Oscars. Of course, Oprah Winfrey has been heavily advertised there, but you have boxing and golf and tennis and male and female athletes and the Olympics, of course, Michael Jordan and all of those sorts of GOAT athletes. And we all know that there's a big Tom Brady part, right? And then you get to see the 7 Super Bowl rings right up close. You can't take video. I took a lot of pictures, so I'm going to put those in here. I'm sure people were sneaking videos in there, but if I do that and put it on YouTube, then I get in trouble. So here's your pictures of it. Jasmine went and she loved it. She's not a sports person at all. She absolutely loved it. And I think that says a lot about how well done this museum is.
How long did it take you to get through, you think?
30 minutes. So I'm not overselling this. I don't know what else to say. It's not worth $45, but like if you just put the price aside and you're saying, is this enjoyable? They have this, so you get an audio guide with an iPhone and they give you the headphones for it and everything. Morgan Freeman walks you through. It's not a huge space, but there's like 23, I think, different exhibits, and the narration's about a minute to a minute and a half. You could go around a lot longer though, because the iPhone they give you, you can scan any object in there and then it will tell you the story of that object. And many times that's being told in the voice of somebody you know, like Oprah or Tom Brady or other celebrities. So like the production factor here, really good. And now you're seeing Super Bowl trophies, you're seeing Wimbledon trophies, you're seeing Olympic gold medals, you're seeing Oscars, you're seeing Super Bowl rings. So it really is that top level bling type of stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's really cool. And it's neat to see how his Super Bowl rings got fancier as the years went on.
Yeah, I think my problem is it should just be included, like if you want to come like as a feature of the property to come check it out. And if they made it a feature of being a card member like they have here, giving you the 2 free passes, but it was like guaranteed access, I think that would be fine. You know, $45 seems a bit much. It still doesn't make a ton of sense to me why they would put it there. They're not big into sports. Their sports book is tiny. It just never really made sense on that aspect. And it doesn't really lean into Las Vegas sports. I think that would have been better. If this was at Circa and it was free or $15 or whatever, I think that would make a lot of sense because they're big into sports. And I think that would be cool. But it just feels weird. And then charging $45 feels weird. And I don't know. I'm glad you enjoyed it, though.
Yeah, I was surprised that I would enjoy it, and I'm a little bit torn on the value of it. And I think that anybody who goes in there, especially if you like sports at all, you'll enjoy what they have because it is an interesting collection of stuff. Old Packers footballs with signed by Vince Lombardi. There's just so much that goes around the theme there. They do have some Las Vegas sports stuff, some jerseys, and then, like I said, the Golden Knights Stanley Cup ring, which is really neat to see as well. So I do recommend that. That was just a regular comp. They didn't give me anything special because I do this show. That just showed up on my account.
You went that whole time without bringing up the Aces? Wow.
They do have an AJ Wilson jersey there. So, yeah, I just saved the best for last.
There you go.
Las Vegas Aces. There were no Raiders things in there, I don't think. I can't remember any
No,
Raiders
no
stuff,
speeding tickets or anything like that? No arrest warrants?
Yeah, there you go. That's my honest review. Overpriced, but absolutely worth doing it. It's right next to the food court on the second level if you're looking for it. And when we started, there was just a few people in there. As we left, more people came. So it does seem like, I wouldn't say it's doing super well, but it seems like at least a few people are interested in it. And if you've been there, let us know in the comments what you think of it. Do you agree with what I say? Do you disagree? And let us know what you think about anything else we talked about. The Tiki bar at Hilton, should that be removed and open up the lobby there? Nachos at Mandalay Bay versus Stadium Swim. Everything else we discussed. That F1 lawsuit, should they just let them sell that cheap merch? Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody.